Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. The Springbrook Reservoir is definitely to blame for the now 210 confirmed cases of Giardiasis.
The Environmental Protection Agency has found the Giardiasis parasite that causes the disease in that water supply. Today, the EPA released the results of tests done on hundreds of gallons of water taken from the reservoir in Lackawanna County. You can see the watershed here from Skycam 16's view. More than 100,000 Pennsylvania gas and water customers served by this reservoir are advised to boil their drinking water so they don't come down with the severe intestinal flu-like disease. At first, it was thought that beavers living at the reservoir were to blame for the Giardiasis outbreak. But now we know the animals merely multiplied the parasite in their own bodies. 5 more beavers have been killed and are being tested for Giardiasis.
Now that we know that the parasite is in the Springbrook water, the question is, what's going to be done about it and when? A news conference is going on right now at PG&W in the offices in Wilkes-Barre there. We have reporters on the scene, including reporter Bob Costantini. We expect to get some answers, hopefully, during this newscast, and we'll be back to Bob, hopefully, with a live report on that in just a few moments. Karen?
Nolan, the health threat from the contaminated water has forced many to find another supply or boil the water they drink. For 20 days now, people have been putting up with that and are still doing it. More from Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci.
3 weeks ago, the Shintala family of West Pittston was complying with the boiling water advisory. But back then, nobody dreamed the advisory would still be in effect today. When we visited the family again late in the afternoon, they were still complying with the boiling rule reluctantly.
It is a pain. It's quite a nuisance to keep boiling water every time you want to use it. And the water company is responsible for this, and I think something should be done by the water company to help us out.
And to me, Springbrook water is not but sewer water.
Meanwhile, over at the Courtdale Spring, where people collect fresh water to avoid boiling, some were boiling mad.
We only use our water for doing clothes and stuff, you know, and for using our toilets.
You figure that's what it's fit for?
Yeah, that's about all it's fit for.
Others said they were still complying with the parasite precautions, although they admitted that at times it was easy to forget.
The other day I took a drink just by automatically of taking a pill, you know, and I panicked. As soon as it hit my throat, I knew I thought, well, I'll have to wait 2 weeks to find out if it caused any germs.
Yep. And so the point of all this is that 3 weeks after the parasite warnings were issued, people still appear to be conscientious about taking precautions with their water. Most of the folks we spoke to figure it's better to be safe than sorry. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16 at the Courtdale Spring.
If you are suffering from symptoms of a chronic intestinal flu, and if you think you may have Giardiasis, there are now places in our area where you can go to be tested for free. Scranton's Community Medical Center is offering the free screenings at the hospital in Scranton during the day. Free screenings that were supposed to begin at the 44th Municipal Building have been postponed. Officials tell us the doctor who plans to do the testing is still working out the details with the health department, but we're told the 44 test will start in the near future. And the Roche Biomedical Labs in Main Street in Old Forge will begin free screening tomorrow as long as you have a request from your doctor.
Now let's go out to Bob Costantini, who is live in Wilkes-Barre to tell us more about that news conference of Pennsylvania Gas and Water. Bob?
Karen, Pennsylvania Gas and Water is saying very little. In fact, they are saying in a press release that has just come from a meeting which was going on up on the top floor up here on the 10th floor. They occupy the 10th floor in the Wilkes-Barre Office Center. But anyway, the press release says that Pennsylvania Gas and Water has not yet received a report which does say that Giardiasis were found in the Springbrook intake reservoir, but that they were not found. They know at least that the Giardiasis were not found in Nesbitt Reservoir nor in the Green Run Creek. PG&W is also saying very little, but of course they are saying that they have employed nationally renowned experts in Giardiasis to advise it of actions it might take in the future to eliminate as early as possible the boiling water. And until that time, PG&W reminds its customers in the affected areas to keep boiling the 2% of water used for human consumption. That is the press release. Now, we understand that earlier today, the Department of Environmental Resources had received that report from the EPA saying that the Giardiasis cysts were found at the Springbrook Reservoir, and that the DER is trying to get information from PG&W as to what they are going to do to get the cysts out of the water system. Bob Costantini, live with the Instacam in downtown Wilkes-Barre. Nolan, Karen?
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. It was a different kind of health threat today in Scranton. Newswatch 16's Kathi Belich reports on a gasoline leak that has caused some evacuations.
This Scranton woman had to leave her home on Music Street because of dangerous gasoline fumes that are seeping into her basement. She first alerted fire officials of the fumes last week, and after testing for several problems, fire officials have determined they are from gasoline and that they now have reached explosive levels. Next door, the Scranton National Bank was having the same problems with fumes, so it's closed indefinitely, and so is the Sixpence Pub. Fire officials think there's a gasoline leak at one of 3 gas stations located up the hill on Music Street.
We got 3 gas stations here. We're on probably 60,000 gallons of gas in this area. So we're going to check the 3 stations tomorrow morning. The tests will be done.
As a precaution, the gas and electric service has been shut off in these buildings and will stay that way until the situation is taken care of.
As we're standing here right now, is it possible that something could ignite right now?
That's possible.
Fire officials say all 3 gas stations plan to start early in the morning testing their underground gasoline tanks by making pressure tests to find out just exactly where the gasoline is coming from. Kathi Belich, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
Newswatch 16 continues with Action 16 and some tips on that favorite morning brew.
And later on, Mike Stevens heads out on that Pennsylvania road to find Porker Paradise.
The conclusion of Attack on Terror tomorrow.
Should Hazleton have 2 hospitals? That's the question being considered by the state and by some people there. Pennsylvania is studying how to give Hazleton State General Hospital away free to a community group later this summer. While no one seems to know who that group is, Hazleton's other hospital, St. Joseph's, has offered the state $8 million in cash for the state facility. The State Department of Public Welfare is paying almost $72,000 to study how to give the hospital away to an as yet unknown community group. No decision has yet been made. Remember the cemetery in western Pennsylvania that flew 444 U.S. flags for the hostages in Iran? Well, the flags are still there in Hermitage Cemetery, but the owner of Hillcrest Memorial Park has filed for protection under federal bankruptcy laws. It seems $200,000 given as down payments for burial crypts was used for the hostage memorial. So when the customers couldn't see their crypts being built, they started suing the cemetery. The owner says Hillcrest is quite solvent, but to stop the lawsuits from those complaining crypt customers, the bankruptcy proceedings have been started by the Mercer County Cemetery.
For millions of us, mornings just wouldn't be the same without that cup of coffee. In fact, except for the people of Sweden, we Americans drink more coffee than anybody else. You may have noticed lately television ads aimed at encouraging us to keep on drinking the Java. But as Action 16's Gerry Gartenberg reports, those ads may not be all that medically accurate.
Why do you drink coffee?
Well, mainly because, you know, it gives you a lift, a little spark of energy, like in the morning. And
I don't function without a cup of coffee. That's a fact.
Wakes me up in the morning.
Lots of folks have been waking up to coffee for years. But now the American Coffee Association is spending millions of dollars on TV commercials that suggest coffee not only will pep us up, it will also help us calm down.
Because coffee lets you calm yourself down and picks you up. No other drink does that like coffee.
Does coffee really calm people down? Coffee contains one active drug, and that's caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant. It certainly doesn't relax anyone. Drinking too much coffee, and that for some people that's 10 cups, for some people that's 2 or 3 cups, can make you feel nervous, jittery, give you a sensation of your heart beating too fast.
If too much coffee gives you the jitters, you could cut down on the number of cups you have each day. If you don't like that idea, how about switching to a coffee with less caffeine? Example, a 6-ounce cup of regular Perk coffee has around 83 milligrams of caffeine. Try the same sized cup of regular instant, and you'll cut your caffeine intake about 25%. If you like Sanka or another decaffeinated brand, you can cut your caffeine almost down to nothing. And one more tip for caffeine-conscious consumers who don't like the decafs. These 3 brands of regular coffee, Louisiane, Mellow Roast, and Sunrise, all contain less caffeine than the other regular brands. They won't calm you down, but they will give you the pickup you may need to get through the day. Gerry Gartenberg, Action 16.
And our meteorologist, Tom Clark, is next.
Well, Tom, we got some snow yesterday, but I understand other places got more than we did.
They did, to the north. We'll talk about that, but it's going to get mighty cold tonight. Karen and Nolan, you may think you have a leak in your thermometer when you check it tomorrow morning. We'll tell you how cold it's going to be when we come right back.
This is the moment.
Brides, don't forget to register for WNEP's Big Bridal Fair. Time's running out for the most extravagant bridal fair around.
The morning of your life, it's the time for bridal fair.
Register for your free invitation at Wyoming Homes or Gus Genetti's Best Western Motor Inn.
Well, if it's not one thing, it's another. First the snow, now frigid cold coming up.
Is that okay with you, Karen?
As long as I stay inside, I guess.
I think you'd rather be in Miami right now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Hey, you know, we've had a lot of calls coming in the past couple of days of people observing geese flying south, and it so happens that you can have a late migration of geese, and I suppose it's all because of this second outbreak of Arctic chill now invading the northeastern part of the country. The temperature now in the backyard, where it's snow-covered for sure, we have a reading of 16 degrees out now. The wind coming down from the north at 12 miles per hour gives a wind chill of about 5 to 10 below zero. The old barometer is rising 30.27 inches. High today, 21 at about 11:30 this morning, and the low in the backyard at the crack of dawn, 13 degrees. Normals 32 and 18. The record high on this date was set back in 1975, and that must have been nice at 66 above zero. How about that 7 below back in 1968? We have a view now from Avoca. Look at that sunset tonight. Lots of color in the sky. A red sun set tonight. It was a clear sky. We do have some partly cloudy skies overhead now. Look at the clouds out in the Atlantic. That was the storm system that dumped anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow across northeastern and central Pennsylvania yesterday. Up in Portland, Maine, they had 15 inches. Quite a bit of heavy snow up in Maine, but that storm system now moving out to sea. A lot of clear skies southwest of Pennsylvania. A strong high now centered over the Great Lakes is circulating very cold air down in from eastern Canada, straight down into Pennsylvania. Single numbers and sub-zero temperatures expected here tonight. Nasty weather up in the northern plains. You can see some clouds up that way. A storm system developing now in Texas will begin to track up towards Pennsylvania along about Friday, and we could see some more snow. Here's the forecast for tonight. It looks like this. Clear skies and frigid. Now, a few clouds this evening may hide the first quarter moon, but you'll see it at times tonight. 1 below up there in Hartford and Susquehanna County, about 5 above in the west side of Scranton. Hello out there. That's pretty cold. How about Whitehaven? 0. 8 in Pottsville and in Clarkstown. The low tonight about 5 degrees. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine, a tranquil kind today because I expect the wind to blow no more than about 6 miles per hour. So a very nice looking day. It won't feel too bad despite, look at that high in Dallas, 20, 19 in Honesdale, 24 in Berwick, about 23 in Mount Carmel, and in Halls, Lycoming County, 22 the high tomorrow. Very little wind chill, if any. Look at the health watch. Wow! Bright sunshine, high barometric pressures, very low humidities, a good mood index, and with that concentration index high, it may be a good day to win an argument. Now, I'm going to get my pointers here. I got 1, 2, 3 icicles here. We'll use this one here. This is a big, bitter cold tonight. Sunshine tomorrow. Look at Friday. A little bit of light snow coming in. 29 for the high. Cloudy on Saturday. Sunday shouldn't be too bad with a high of 33 degrees. So a nice day coming tomorrow. And Karen and Nolan, stay warm.
All right. Like your pointers.
How do you like this?
Thanks, Tom. Newswatch 16 continues with our own Joe Zone.
Yeah, and Joe's going to have something to say about sports when we come back.
all of you, not only around holiday time, but the whole year round. Slow in the bottle. Enjoy the road.
There's a big basketball game in town tonight. Joe Zone's going to tell us about it.
This is just about my favorite. Last year, the University of Scranton and Wilkes-Barre University went to their respective division playoffs. They met once during the regular season last year. You remember, Scranton won at 67-65. Tonight, Scranton and Wilkes-Barre at the John Long Center might be the best college basketball game you'll see around here all year. Ever wonder where some of those college and high school players end up? Well, Tim Karlson tells us that schools like College Misericordia provide excellent opportunities for aspiring coaches.
That's someone new to tie the College Misericordia men's basketball program together is Bobby Nape, who has replaced Red Jones. Now, he may be the new head coach here, but he's not new to coaching. Assisting in the past at Hartwood College in New York, heading up the women at Marywood College, and leading the semi-pro Scranton Miners a couple of years ago. But the last 2 years, Bobby's been out of coaching.
I was really in no rush to get back into it. And then this situation developed, and I just said, yeah, that's a good opportunity. I mean, it's coaching men's at a college level.
Now it's a matter of doing the foundation work for a growing program.
Our first goal is to restore or upgrade, up-level the morale of the players so that we can, you know, have a fun program here, bring the level of competitiveness up, and we're just going to take it a day at a time and see how it goes.
But a new head coach at Misericordia is only half the story. That's former King star George Aldrich. But he belongs here now because he's the new assistant coach at College Misericordia.
He was just the natural choice to come in. I mean, we're friends. We understand each other. He was available. He's working in Wilkes-Barre, so that, you know, he's not too far from the college. It was just all the elements were perfect, and he was happy to do it.
I'm thinking about it this year and see how I like it. It's really Bobby Nape's team. I'm here to help him out whenever I can. You know, obviously I'm not in for the money or anything else, just for the experience, and you know, I love basketball.
So the new head and assistant coach here at College Misericordia are hoping that with the new commitment, they'll be able to build this into a more competitive Division III program. Tim Karlson, Newswatch 16 Sports in Dallas.
The Pro Bowlers' winter tour has begun. Scranton's Joe Hutchinson is out on it, trying to make a living. This week's tip, he talks about getting to the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about the approach. This is the section of the lane from the back to the foul line. If you have a good approach, basically sound, it is very difficult to play this game bad. Now, most instructors teach the classic style, 4 steps. First step, when your right foot moves, you push the ball away. Second step, let the ball fall into its backswing. Your third step, the ball is at the height of the backswing and starts to come down. The fourth step, you slide and you release the ball towards the designated target, be it the second arrow or third arrow or whatever. Now, let me stress this. This is a game of individual styles. I have seen great bowlers who have taken 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. Mark Roth has taken 7 steps. If you're doing something and it is right for you, don't let someone change you just because you're not going by the book. The greatest bowlers in the history of the game, Don Carter, Dick Weber, Earl Anthony, they were not exactly by the book. But at one point in their game, at the certain points, the required points, they are by the book. And that is what you're striving for. The cliche fits in this case. It's not how you drive, it's how you arrive.
How you arrive. Don't forget high school basketball tonight, too. Some of those games that were postponed from last night. The big one, our 5th and 6th ranked teams, Scranton Tech and Abington Heights. That game getting underway, by the way, at 6:30, just a couple of minutes. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. We will see you at 11 o'clock. We'll have highlights of the Bloomsburg-Scranton game, wrestling tonight, lots of that, and anything else going on.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that Bloomsburg-Scranton game
That'll be a good
dandy. You know, both went to the playoffs last year. Of course, Scranton won their national championship. So both excellent teams this year. Should be a good one.
Okay, looking forward to that one.
We'll
Thanks,
see
Joe.
you on the sports screen.
And we'll get geared up next and hit the Pennsylvania Road.
Mike Stevens has a heavy weight of a story as Newswatch 16 continues.
The brides are coming to WNEP.
The Pennsylvania Road lured Mike Stevens south to Harrisburg, where the State Farm Show is underway. Tonight, Mike Stevens has the story of heaven. Hog heaven, that is.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. All these little piggies went to the State Farm Show, where they found the good life.
A pig going to the farm show is kind of like you and I going on vacation in Bermuda, or maybe honeymooning at one of those special hotels in the Poconos. No mud to deal with here, just nice clean bedding. A couple of good square meals a day. And some nice next-door neighbors to get familiar with. Why, this is hog heaven. A few days away from it all.
It's warm in here where they might be out in a small pen and out in the snow. Most animals, farm animals, do better outside than in confinement.
Of course, you do have a lot of folks dropping by for a look and a visit. Sometimes it's enough to make you think of that quiet pen at home. But then even thinking of that is too much. After all, this is vacation. And there are the bright lights of the auction ring to get ready for.
Maybe they're buying new bloodlines, new families, and they all go home and raise litters. That's what they're all bred animals.
These are the debutantes of the swine world. Young ladies whose futures are guaranteed.
Yeah, the average life of a hog that you would eat is about 6 months, and many times these breeding animals will live for 3, 4, 5 years. I've had them as long as 10 years, but that's unusual.
No wonder so many of these pigs are smiling. They've obviously realized that life is good and will get better. All they need do is what comes naturally.
Usually has all he wants to eat and sleep is all he has to do. So if maybe compared to a human's life, it's not so great as you think it is.
Yeah, maybe. I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road in Harrisburg.
That's the life.
Yeah. Mike really brought home the bacon with that one, didn't he?
Oh.
Anyway, friends, that is Newswatch 16 for Wednesday.
Be sure to join us tonight on The Update when we'll have more on those water test results.
Now, World News Tonight is next from ABC. They will have the story of new reports that warn of direct Soviet-Cuban threats to the United States.
For the team, thanks for being with us and enjoy your evening.